out on Friday on What's on Tap, enslaved people who escaped to freedom on a harrowing journey through Wisconsin's Underground Railroad in the 1800s. Author Dean Robbins, he's going to join me just after the 7 o'clock newscast. And speaking of Caroline Quarles, Joshua Glover learn much more about their lives in tonight's Milwaukee PBS premiere of Wisconsin's Underground Railroad. I will have a preview clip and a highlight from my chat with the filmmaker Brian Ewig and one of the University of Wisconsin-Milwaukee historians featured, Biko Baker. They joined me last week, and they're both excited to share the hidden history that happened right here in towns across our state in this Milwaukee PBS documentary. Music fans, Eau Claire's own Bon Iver, they dropped a major music announcement today. And I have those details, plus more Summerfest picks from one of the women I work with here at Good Karma Brands. She is such a Kiss fan. She has a tattoo of the band, which I know that probably doesn't surprise anybody in the Kiss Army, but it's she's all in. So she's going to share her Summerfest picks and a music moment at the Winter Olympics. Donna Summer songs are getting attention after she was heard as part of the soundtrack for American figure skater Alyssa Liu's gold medal winning performance. Donna Summer disco music, especially MacArthur Park, which Alyssa Liu free skated to. They are surging in streaming since she won the gold. And the song you need to hear is the Donna Summer song that I would want to skate to. So you'll hear that, and we'll run through the buzzworthy moments from the BAFTA Awards, the AARP Movies for Grown-Up Awards, which was on PBS over the weekend, including some of the speeches that people are still talking about. And on Mondays, I like to find out from you what was a highlight of your weekend. I would love to be everywhere all at once to have fun, especially, when I'm writing out the events listings for What's on Tap or the weekend trend preview for Wisconsin's Morning News on Thursdays. I realize, though, I can only be in one place at a time. Where were you? What did you do? What was a highlight? Did you go somewhere fun? Did you see somebody you dig? Did you binge watch a cool series? Maybe you finally accomplished a home project you've been meaning to do. Talk and text. The Siding Unlimited. WTMJ Talk and Text line, 855-616-1620. Big wins to small joys or big joys to small wins. I am interested. 855-616-1620. For me, I will share. Saturday, I was hanging in the Harbor District at Bridgewater Yum Grill. I had steak frites and a nice bourbon cocktail, catching up with a friend of mine from my Chicago life. So it was great to have him in for a visit. And after we were at the Bridgewater, we went over to Brady Street. We went to the Deep Groove, that vinyl bar that I had been hearing about. It's where the old Brady Futons was. And it's got a great architecture inside with the kind of tin ceiling, but it was busy. Busier than I expected for a Saturday afternoon, but it was a cool, warm spot to catch up. And then I went supper clubbing at Uke's favorite spot. Remember, Bob Uecker used to like to go to the Jackson Grill. It's tucked over by Kachansky's Concertina Bar near 35th and Burnham. And just nice to sit in that vibe and see all the Brewers memorabilia. And it is that supper club vibe. Some people were dressed up for a nice dinner, and it was just a relaxed atmosphere and struck up conversation. Me and my best friend were talking with Hill and Jerry from Kenosha. They came up for the custom hot rod show at Wisconsin State Fair Park. So it was nice to be neighborly and circulating. And I actually kicked off my weekend on Friday by going to Next Act Theater, and I saw Swing States. And I had a cast party with two of the members of Swing State, Elise Edelman and Jack Lancaster, and they were here with me one day last week. But Next Act Theater, it is on stage, I think, through March 8th. Yes, it is, through March 8th. And even though it's called Swing State, you'd think it'd be very political. It's really more about being neighborly and more about coping with the effects of addictions within a small community, and a lot of symbolism of nature in the Wisconsin prairie because it is set in Wisconsin. And there was a time that during the cast party that Elise Edelman said, there is a moment that we are surprised that the entire audience will respond. They gasp at this one part. So I was very curious to see if it would happen. The gasp moment happened. I was part of it. So I can definitely recommend Swing State at Next Act Theater through March 8th. And if you want to catch up on that cast party podcast from last week, you can find it where you find the What's on Tap podcast. And actually you can text, just go to WTMJ.com or wherever you find your podcast. Look up What's on Tap WTMJ and you will get the link or you can listen right there. That is the same number, 855-616-1620. Let me know a highlight of your weekend, social or domestic, whatever you celebrated. And producer Isaac Marquardt is with me this evening. Isaac, a highlight of your weekend?
I went and got a delicious burger.
Any place in particular?
Yeah, it was Riley's Burger Bar over in Bayview. I got their burger of the week, which had Gruyere and caramelized onions with a shallot aioli.
Oh, that is very fancy.
I know
pants.
it was really good though. I'll tell you that. It and in the summer
It
you
hit the
can bring
spot.
your dog on their patio too.
I've been to Riley's. I've been to their food truck before, like at the Makers Market at Discovery World, and I like their dogs.
Their sandwich shop has my undying loyalty for best sandwiches in Milwaukee, and the burgers are pretty solid too.
I'm going to keep turning to you for the foodie reviews. Isaac has got it. So, what was the highlight of your weekend? Was it a good meal? Was it time with good friends? Did you explore a new neighborhood? Let me know. The Siding Unlimited WTMJ talk and text line 855-616-1620. Black History Month continues. A compelling half-hour documentary all about Wisconsin's Underground Railroad premieres on Milwaukee PBS 9 o'clock tonight. Get a preview with the documentary creator next on What's on Tap.
Save big money on your dream kitchen upgrade with help from Menards. Clearview Cabinetry offers a selection of finishes made with the finest materials and built to withstand life's sticky messes. They provide features like soft closed doors and drawers and cabinet accessories to match your unique style. Save big money on Clearview Cabinets and check out our weekly flyer on Menards.com for more great deals happening this week.
Save big money at Menards.
Academic Mortgage is an equal housing lender. NMLSConsumerAccess.org, number 255368.
Don't settle for a flimsy bank pre-approval. Get the pre-approval listing agents and sellers recognized as better than the rest. The rock-solid guaranteed pre-approval from AccuNet. Get yours by clicking on the blue button at accunet.com.
For over 30 years, CertaPro Painters has been part of countless memories. Every wall tells a story, and we've been proud to help write them. We are more than just your local painters, with care, craftsmanship, and certainty. From the first brushstroke to the final smile, our promise is simple. Your home, beautifully painted and worry-free. CertaPro Painters, that's painting happy. Get started today at CertaPro.com. Each CertaPro Painters business is independently owned and operated. Contractor license and registration information is available at CertaPro.com.
WTMJ throwing strikes for a cause, and you are invited. Bowling for Babies is Saturday, March 7th at Village Bowl in Menominee Falls, raising funds for the Milwaukee Diaper Mission. Put together a team of 4, hit the lanes, registration, $170 per team, and if you want in, text the word BABY to the WTMJ talk and text line 855-616-1620. Sign up, text that word BABY. Bowling for Babies. Let's bowl and help families who need it.
Parents can expect to use 2,500 to 3,000 diapers in a baby's first year. The Milwaukee Diaper Mission has distributed over 1.4 million diapers and other supplies for families just last year alone. This is WTMJ's Kristen Bry. Join me for WTMJ Cares Bowling for Babies, where we will raise funds for Milwaukee Diaper Mission. You can be part of it. Text BABY to the WTMJ talk and text line 855-616-1620 to support our WTMJ Cares effort.
You're listening to What's on Tap with Sandy Maxx on WTMJ.
Welcome back to What's on Tap. Thanks for hanging out with me on a Monday, getting your week started right. And I am excited. I'm always proud to work with Milwaukee PBS. I have hosted a show there called The Arts Page since 2012. Over 200 episodes. You can see them online. And the goal of What's on Tap and The Arts Page are very similar, to spotlight creativity and culture here in Wisconsin and around the world. And last week I was able to invite Brian Ewig, who's a Milwaukee PBS producer, and Biko Baker from University of Wisconsin-Milwaukee, who's a historian and a teacher who specializes in the African diaspora. And they were both part of the creation of Wisconsin's Underground Railroad. The new documentary is just half-hour long, but packed full of information. It debuts tonight at 9 on Channel 10 on Milwaukee PBS. And here's a sample.
The Underground Railroad movement, that's the point where the civil rights, quote-unquote, movement started, was then. Because people came together to make it happen for other people. Personal freedom, economic freedom, human rights were born out of the Underground Railroad movement.
That's a moment from Wisconsin's Underground Railroad, a brand new Milwaukee PBS documentary. And here to explain what we just heard is Milwaukee PBS producer Brian Ewig and Rob Baker from UW Milwaukee, who was a history consultant on this documentary.
So that voice you just heard was Kimberly Simmons. And Kimberly Simmons, I found her through just aggressive research, what you do when you're doing a project like this. She is the great-great-great-granddaughter of Caroline Quarles. And Caroline Quarles is the first documented freedom seeker to travel through Wisconsin in 1843. So Kimberly is in Detroit. She's doing a lot of great work there she does the Detroit River Project. And there's a lot of history with the Underground Railroad in Detroit being just a hop, skip, and a jump over the river from Canada there. Here's the scenario we laid out in the documentary. So Kimberly Simmons ends up coming to this summer on July 4th to Alice's Garden. Now, Alice's Garden is the former farm property of Deacon Samuel Brown.
And it's a great urban garden.
Yeah.
That's used now and brings the community together.
Absolutely. So you have a situation where Kimberly Simmons comes here on July 4th and tells the story of Caroline Quarles. Caroline Quarles on July 4th of 1843 escapes bondage in St. Louis and begins her trek up to Wisconsin, ultimately to Canada. While she was in Wisconsin, she seeks refuge at Deacon Samuel Brown's farm, the same place where 85, 90 years later, her great-great-great-granddaughter is telling her story. I mean, unbelievable.
That's a lightning rod. Like, that's unimaginable.
It is,
and you helped make that happen. How does that feel when you're in that moment and you're capturing this? I'm assuming you filmed that.
Oh, man. I mean, you can't help
from a few different angles.
You can't help but feel immense empathy for the situation. I'm a father. I have kids, and that's the goal. If in 90 years my relatives are talking about decisions I made and how that improved their lives 90 years later, I mean, that's incredible. It was palpable. You could feel it in the air. It was just an amazing story to tell and amazing to be part of and capture that.
And how does that make you feel, Biko, when you hear, because history is your jam, like it's what you devote your life to and teach others about. When you hear that moment coming together, those threads for over nearly a century.
Yeah, it's incredible. In my classes, I often say that history doesn't repeat, but it rhymes. And so here you are, July 4th. And it's incredible because I've been to Johnson's Park where the farm is many times as a kid, playing soccer, running around. It's on 17th and Fond du Lac, just blocks away from where I grew up in my grandmother's house in Mayflower Court. And here we are, and there's such important connections that, again, before researching this film, I heard the stories, but like to bring it to life in this way, it's well done. And I encourage people to watch these stories because oftentimes we think about history as this thing way over there, but when you get deep into it, it's right there. And shouts out to you for, making the ancestors dance a little bit.
I thought that was just such a wonderful line that Biko Baker said from UW Milwaukee. Make our ancestors dance by bringing these stories to light that have been hidden and tucked away for so long out of necessity because helping slaves was an actual crime. Biko Baker from UW Milwaukee and Brian Ewig, Milwaukee PBS producer, the voices you heard there as they have put in the work and will debut Wisconsin's Underground Railroad tonight at 9 on Channel 10. And, of course, there'll be re-airs. And if you have PBS Passport, I'm sure you can catch up on it that way. But and you can also catch up on the podcast on WTMJ.com. It was the Sunday special yesterday, and I think they visited me on Wednesday of last week. But to be able to spend an hour together and really talk about the different layers and the different stories and the ripple of politics that the original Republican Party, how they started in Ripon, was part of the Wisconsin's Underground Railroad experience. And Waukesha is part of the story. Racine is part of the story, a church there. So really a lot of interesting layers to Wisconsin's Underground Railroad. And you can see that tonight on Milwaukee PBS Channel 10 starting at 9. And Milwaukee to Eau Claire. Music news from Bon Iver. I will share that with you next on What's on Tap.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm.
Ask yourself this question. Is it really worth holding on to that timeshare that you know you need to get rid of? Here's the truth. The average maintenance fee just went up over 17%. That could have been 117%, and there's nothing you can do about it. When you buy a timeshare, you give them a blank check for annual maintenance and assessment fees. I'm Chuck McDowell, founder of Wesley Financial Group. For 15 years, I've helped over 50,000 families cancel their timeshare. Not sell it, not transfer it, cancel it. Did you buy a timeshare because they told you it was a great investment and your maintenance fees would never go up? That's a lie. Are you ready to get rid of your timeshare once and for all? Simply call us and I'll send you our timeshare exit kit that explains all your options for cancellation.
Call Wesley now for your timeshare exit kit. 800-747-1515. That's 800-747-1515. 800-747-1515.
Planet Fitness has everything you need anytime the motivation hits, so you can give everything you've got. With most clubs open 24 hours, you've got access to our best-in-class equipment to tackle early morning reps, late-night miles, and every workout in between. Join the club today and save $28 or more when you join for just $1 down, $15 a month. Cancel anytime. Deal ends February 27th. You ready? Planet Fitness. We're all strong on this planet. See club for details.
Nestled in the heart of the Kettle Moraine Forest lies the historic Fox and Hounds Supper Club. WTMJ's John Mercure here. I love the Fox and Hounds. Journey through 90 years of history in the timbered stone structure. It's gorgeous. And when you buy one dinner, your second dinner is free 7 days a week. An amazing deal at an amazing place. Choice steaks, ribs, seafood, pasta, a big fresh salad, even the steak and lobster, any entree, your second dinner's free. The Fox and Hounds desserts, and I love those, and huge ice cream drinks, buy one, get one free. Unwind with an old-fashioned, a Manhattan, 20 bourbons on their bourbon list, over 100 fine wines, 8 elegant dining rooms with real wood-burning fireplaces. Wherever you live, it's worth the spectacular drive through the Kettle Moraine for your free dinner. Just off Highway 167, 2 miles east of Holy Hill, a Top Choice Award winner for fine dining and most romantic restaurant. Take your family to the Fox and Hounds this week. Half your dinners are free. I love this place. foxandhoundsrestaurant.com. Are you hosting an event, launching something new, wanting to get the word out about your part of the state? Be a featured guest on the WTMJ Experience Wisconsin show. Share your story, promote your event or business, and connect with fans all across the state. I'm John Mercure. I'd love to interview you. We reach listeners from Milwaukee to Madison, Green Bay to La Crosse, everywhere in between. It's Experience Wisconsin. Ready to shine a spotlight on your business or company? Email me, john@WTMJ.com for more information. john@WTMJ.com.
This is What's on Tap with Sandy Maxx.
Welcome back to What's on Tap, sponsored by Visit Milwaukee. Handcrafted, homegrown, world class. Discover more at visitmilwaukee.org. Music is in the air. I was just talking about my teammates at Milwaukee PBS, and one of the engineering gals just walked by. Stephanie's down here at 3rd Street Market Hall getting ready to go see 9 Inch Nails at Fiserv Forum. Lots of music swirling around. And that music you hear is Bon Iver, Wisconsin's own, from Eau Claire. And Justin Vernon from Bon Iver just announced a brand new archival series called Volumes. And the first release will drop April 3rd. If you're a Bon Iver fan, circle that on your calendar. And it is titled Selections from Music Concerts 2019 to 2023 Bon Iver 6-Piece Band. So not the most artistic title, but it tells you exactly what it is. And it actually is the band's first ever non-studio album. So a live record, and Justin Vernon says it's the band, quote, at its best. And it's a project that was inspired by Bob Dylan's bootleg series and Neil Young's archives as a way of doing it themselves, curating their own legacy, not just kind of releasing leftover songs. So if you're a big Bon Iver fan, circle your calendar for April 3rd for that new archival series called Volumes, selections from music concerts 2019 to 2023, Bon Iver, 6-piece band. And remember that their Eau Claire's Festival is back this summer for the first time in 8 years, July 24th through the 25th, and Carson Park. So lots to look forward to if you're a Bon Iver fan. I am Sandy Maxx. Thank you so much for hanging out with me. I'm excited in the 7 o'clock hour to talk with author Dean Robbins, who has written a book, Wisconsin Idols, 100 Heroes Who Changed the State, the World, and Me. It's going to be a really fun conversation. And could also touch on some more Summerfest picks in the next half hour. And getting to be awards season, quick recap of the BAFTAs and AARP's Movies for Grown-Ups Awards. That is a thing. It was on PBS on Saturday night. Or was that last night? It was last night. So catch up on some of those awards as we get closer to the Actor Awards this weekend and the Academy Awards on March 15th. Right now, though, we go to the WTMJ Breaking News Center. Here is Jessica Gatzo.
Thanks, Sandy. 2 Wisconsin Republicans are working to re-implement the death penalty for those convicted of certain child sex crimes. A bill co-authored by State Senator Chris Kapenga and Representative Elijah Benke would reintroduce the death penalty as an option alongside life in prison in cases involving the sexual abuse of children under 13 years old. Several provisions would need to be met, including DNA evidence tying the convicted person to the crime. The measure is unlikely to advance this session after the Assembly concluded its floor session last week. A former Appleton police officer dies in a house fire. Crews responded around 5:30 p.m. last Wednesday to a smoke coming from the roof of the house near North Meade Street and First Avenue. The owner, 86-year-old Ronnie McIntyre, called to report a fire in the kitchen area. He was eventually rescued but died from his injuries at the hospital. McIntyre served for 36 years as an Appleton police officer, retiring in 1999 as a lieutenant. Milwaukee County has been awarded over $1 million in federal funding to support new bus purchases and upgrades to a longtime community center. Later this year, about a third of the buses for the Milwaukee County Transit System will reach the 12-year service mark. County officials say replacing these buses will help MCTS reduce repair costs. Meanwhile, $250,000 will support facility upgrades at the Kosciuszko Community Center, which was constructed over 45 years ago. Taking a look at the roads with your WTMJ Time Saver traffic, looks like that crash on 43 South at Atkinson and Keefe is still causing some delays back at Hampton, but it is now pulled over to the right shoulder. Also still seeing some delays on 94 eastbound between 76 and Hawley. And time for the WTMJ 5-day forecast. Tonight, mostly cloudy skies, a low of 18. On Tuesday, a chance for some light snow towards the evening, high of 38. Wednesday, partly cloudy with a chance for a wintry mix, a high of 32. Thursday, mostly cloudy and another chance for some wintry mix, a high of 36. On Friday, mostly sunny skies, a high of 45. Right now in Milwaukee, it's 22 degrees. I'm Jessica Gatzo, Outdoor Living Unlimited. WTMJ News Time is 6:32.
WTMJ's Vince Vitrano for Inspired Closets, something that can positively affect your mood, getting organized and clearing out the clutter. A well-rounded closet could be the most powerful room in your home. Inspired Closets can transform your closets or laundry room, your pantry, any space in your house. What separates Inspired Closets from the others? Their 3D design software and a culture that promises to build what you want and need. Call my friends Katie and Dan today, a wife-husband team ready to help. Inspired Days start in Inspired Closets. InspiredClosetsMilwaukee.com.
Hey, Wisconsin anglers. This Saturday, head to MW Marine for a free fishing seminar. No reservation needed. Meet Warren Zarin from the Mercury Lund Pro Team and learn West Coast bass techniques that flat out work in Wisconsin. Pick up tips you can use right away. And while you're there, check out the boats and get ready for your best season yet. This Saturday at MW Marine. Free, fun, and you're invited.
Hi, this is Michelle Voskel, CPA and team member at the Neal Group. Well, here we are. It is 2026. Remember last year when you said never again? Did it work? You didn't start your business to spend lots of time doing bank reconciliations, cash flow projections, or inventory analysis. Let us help you keep your New Year's resolution to stay on top of your finances and keep your books up to date. Don't do the same thing this year and expect different results. Start the year off on the right foot by calling the Neal Group to help you understand your numbers and make them better. You earned it. We help you keep it. Call 414-325-2040 now to set up a meeting to see how you can make 2026 the best year ever. The first meeting is free. That's 414-325-2040 or visit us at nealgroup.net. That's NEAL group.net.
Hey, John Mercure here for Mend Studios. You deserve to feel better. You deserve to feel healthy. You deserve to feel great about yourself. Mend Studios has a long-term wellness as the goal. That's how they're going to do it. That's how they're going to take care of you. I know and trust the therapists at Mend Studio. They customize every single treatment, and they've got multiple locations. They're in Mequon and Brookfield, both convenient, both easy to get to. Start at the website, mendstudio.com. I never feel better than I do after a session at Mend. Mendstudio.com.
Point taken with Scafidi and Bride.
The invitation went out to Attorney General Pam Bondi. She acted about as unprofessionally as anyone could ever act in front of a House committee.
Over something incredibly serious when we were talking about the Epstein files, but the fact that was what a lot of the questions were about, and her being that defiant, like, I'm not sure she won herself any fans yesterday.
No, I don't like her persona. I don't like her attitude.
Weekdays from 10 to noon on WTMJ. What's on Tap with Sandy Maxx is back on WTMJ.
That is music from the Sinners score. Awards season is here. Time is getting closer to the Academy Awards on March 15th. The Actor Awards are this Sunday, and you had not one but two awards shows last night, hosted by the same guy, Alan Cumming. He is not hurting for work. He's hosting The Traitors yet again in all of his dapper and colorful suits, and he gets to use those dapper and colorful suits for award shows. He was hosting the BAFTAs live yesterday in England, basically the British Academies, and he had recorded back in January the AARP Movies for Grown-Ups Awards, which was more interesting than I expected it to be. He sang, he walked around through the crowd, but of course he had some very stylish suits for that ceremony as well. And that was airing on PBS last night, and I didn't get to watch the BAFTAs in real time, but I was following along on some social media, and I am trying to do my research because I am excited about the Academy Awards, and I may have a fun announcement about an Academy Awards party to share with you later this week. So maybe we can all celebrate the Academies together. But it's interesting to keep an eye on the BAFTAs in particular because they're not like spot on, with exactly how the Academy Awards will go. But because they share some voting members, in the acting and technical categories, there certainly are some similarities. So I was thinking that one battle after another won the BAFTAs, and Jessie Buckley, who's in Hamnet, who plays Shakespeare's wife, who's gotten a lot of rave reviews for her performance, she won last night. So I wonder if that, in the back of my head, I'm thinking, well, that could mean good things for her for the Oscars. But if you haven't seen Hamnet yet, I can definitely recommend it. But it is a powerful performance by Jessie Buckley, and it is another film that explores family relationships, especially a mother. And it's a really guttural performance. And this is Jessie Buckley, who is very happy with her acceptance speech, but shares what her favorite role is.
I'd like to share this with my daughter, who's been with me since she was 6 weeks old on the road with this. It's the best role of my life, being your mom. And I promise to continue to be disobedient so that you can belong to a world in all your mad, complex wildness as a young woman. I am very grateful for this. Thank you so much.
Now, I will tell you one thing the BAFTAs have that I don't think the Academy Awards will have, and I'm kind of bummed. A sweet bear. For those of you who love the Paddington movies and think the bear is very sweet and is marmalade, there is a stage show now in London, and Paddington is this animatronic little bear with his little jacket and his hat. But Paddington was walking the BAFTA red carpet last night, and everybody, he's a showstopper. You're just charmed at this little bear. His walking movements are really good. They're not really stilted or weird. It is fascinating how charmed everybody is by basically this walking stuffed animal. And Paddington presented the award for best children's and family film. And this is just a moment of Paddington at the podium.
Good evening, everybody. You all look rather surprised to see me. Do you know, I'm as surprised as you are. I don't usually talk in front of lots of people, and there are rather a lot of you. But my Aunt Lucy says
his voice is more
you have to face your
mechanical
fears.
and stilted than his facial
Then
appearances and everything. That's
away.
the actor's voice of Ben Whishaw. But it was very charming, and a lot of people were all over social media. Everybody's like, "Oh my gosh, Paddington's a sweetheart. He's civil. He's polite. He's very nice. There will be no wardrobe malfunctions." A lot of people were very charmed by Paddington at the BAFTAs last night. And really, one of the big films that dominated the night was one battle after another, with several major awards, including Best Film and Best Director, Editing and Cinematography, and that is the movie with Leonardo DiCaprio. And one battle after another was a big standout at the Movies for Grown-Ups Awards put on by AARP. I think they've been doing it for almost 20 years now. And it's a nice, like I said, it was a much better awards ceremony than I expected. I guess I expected it to be kind of fuddy-duddy, but it was cool. It was a good awards program. Sentimental Value is that kind of Norwegian Scandinavian film that has gotten a lot of buzz, and that won for intergenerational film and best foreign language film. And they also gave away some TV awards. George Clooney was a winner, and the best movie for grown-ups was Hamnet that we were just talking about. Clooney was the best actor for the movie Jay Kelly. And Frankenstein was the best director, Guillermo del Toro. And who do you think at the Movies for Grown-Ups Awards would win the Lifetime or the Career Achievement Award? I will give you a hint. He's made a movie called Grown-Ups. He's made 2 movies that have the word Grown-Ups. Adam Sandler won the Career Achievement Award. And it turns out he is really well liked. Henry Winkler gave the presentation and couldn't say enough nice things about Adam Sandler, that he's a family man and a good guy and does have that uncompromising, silly sense of humor, yet is also a great actor. Henry Winkler loved Uncut Gems, so it was fun to see him and then to have Adam Sandler come up and go, "Wow, that's the Fonz. The Fonz is introducing me." So Adam Sandler, true to form, did his funny voice, and he did the top 10 ways he knows he's getting old that made the crowd laugh a lot. I spared you all 10, but if you look it up, you can find it on pbs.org. It's posted there. But he did leave the crowd with this. If you think you've gotten rid of him in filmmaking, oh no.
But I promise to every one of you here tonight, I will make at least 50 more movies before I am dead. And at least 25 of them will be good.
He got out of that funny voice, though, and he was sincere and thanked his family and his daughters. So we'll see what else we see Adam Sandler in. I'm still a big fan of The Wedding Singer, and I liked Mr. Deeds, too. Maybe we catch up on some streaming with Adam Sandler. Next, more music, more Summerfest picks to share with you, because nearly 200 bands were announced last Thursday, and I'm still going through the list, and some people that I know have picks as well. I will share some of those Summerfest picks with you next on What's on Tap.
You've seen us around town, volunteering, supporting events, and showing up where it matters. At Waterstone Bank, we're more than a bank. We're your neighbor. The money you deposit stays local, helping small businesses, creating jobs, and supporting home ownership. It's banking from the community for the community. Visit your local branch or WSBOnline.com to see how we're building a stronger southeastern Wisconsin, one neighbor at a time. Waterstone Bank, member FDIC.
In 1987, the Bucks took on the world and changed basketball forever.
At stake, basketball supremacy in the United States.
Bucks versus the World, narrated by Charlie Behrens, is the new season of Behind the Bucks podcast, presented by Gallagher, your trusted insurance broker and HR and benefits consultant. It's the untold story of the 1987 McDonald's Open, when the Bucks became the first NBA team to face the Soviet Union. Listen now on bucks.com/plus, the Bucks app, the ESPN Wisconsin app, and wherever you get podcasts.
3 generations ago, it was about doing one thing and doing it right.
Hardwood, tile, carpet, floors that had to last because our name, Adair, was on them. Over time, homeowners asked us to do more. Kitchens, bathrooms, full remodels. And so our name changed to Adair Floors and Remodeling.
But flooring has always been the foundation, literally.
And it's something the next generation already understands.
Hi, I'm Ava. Hi, I'm Quinn. My dad does floors.
From hardwood and luxury vinyl plank to tile and carpet, we handle selection, layout, and professional installation.
And because we also remodel homes, we know how flooring works with everything else. Transitions, finishes, and long-term durability.
When you hire Adair, you're getting experience you can stand on and people who will be here for decades to come.
Call my dad. Bye-bye.
Adair Floors and Remodeling. Built on flooring, trusted for remodels. 3 generations, 1 standard. Call us at 414-761-3660 for your free flooring estimate.
Recently, a seller that unfortunately ended up choosing another agent called me. She said she made a mistake, and what she was expressing to me sounded like she kind of was bullied into signing with him. Is it typical? Not always, but it will never happen when you hire a Century 21 Benefit Realty agent. I want our agents to be able to look in the mirror and say, I'd want to work with me. Not because they're good at saying what you want to hear or offer the lowest commission, but because of trust. Because if you're not feeling that from your agent, that's a problem, and I don't want that. At 1.9% on the listing side of your sale with our commission capped at $19,000, Century 21 Benefit Realty leads with a very fair and transparent commission structure with maximum marketing that can get your home sold fast and for the best price. And saving money matters, but working with someone who will tell you exactly what you need to know up front, that creates trust. And that matters too. This is Angela Calais with Century 21 Benefit Realty, benefit-realty.com, where you pay less for full service. Each office is independently owned and operated.
Welcome back to What's on Tap on WTMJ.
One of the very many bands you can see at Summerfest this year, that is Echo and the Bunnymen. June 18th, I have that circled on my calendar. They will be performing, and I'm still scouring the Summerfest lineup, plotting shows on my June and July calendar. If you haven't seen it yet, let us text it to you. If you text the word Summerfest, all one word, Summerfest, to the Siding Unlimited WTMJ Talk and text line 855-616-1620. Text Summerfest to 855-616-1620. We will send you the link to our web story so you can browse at your leisure and see which bands jump out to you of the nearly 200 bands that were announced by Summerfest last Thursday. All kinds of styles of music, and I've been finding out which artists are exciting people in my circles. And here are the Summerfest picks that cover a range of decades and genres from one of my Good Karma Brands teammates.
My name is Sam Dunn. I am a digital account manager with Good Karma Brands, and my big 3 that I'm looking forward to. Number 1 is going to have to be Gene Simmons' band. I saw him play at the Potawatomi Rock and Brews a couple of years back, and it was the best thing in the world. I'm a huge Kiss fan. I've seen them, I think, 5 times in 25 years. Always a great show, and I knew it was going to be a great show with just him. It was even crazier because we obviously saw him without makeup on his face. So you can expect me to be there early to get a front row seat. I may even have to paint my face in his honor for, being the demon, they call him, back in Kiss. Might need to also show him my Kiss tattoo. We'll have to see. Number 2 is going to have to be Russell Dickerson. I've seen him several times, and he always puts on a good show. His wife is actually a Wisconsin native, so he always makes the concerts here feel a bit more personal. Plus, it's country in the summer. You can't go wrong there, right? Last but not least, Sean Paul. He takes me back to the early 2000s when they made the Now CDs. Looking forward to seeing him and Flo Rida. Very excited. Can't wait to have a dance party with it.
Oh, that is going to be some fun there with Sean Paul with The Temperature at Summerfest. I like a lot of Sam's picks, and I'm not familiar with Russell Dickerson, so that'll be a new one. I'm going to look into him, but definitely Kiss. Gene Simmons. I don't know how, I'd probably stroll by that stage. I don't think I'd camp out at that stage, but Kiss was my very first concert. I was 10 years old and my dad took me to see them in Lexington. That is the kind of show that leaves some memories and helps shape you. So, but I do not have the Kiss tattoo like Sam does. So we'll find out more about what she'd like to see and what you would like to see. Always interested. And if you'd like that full Summerfest listing so far, text the word Summerfest, all one word, Summerfest, to 855-616-1620. That's our Siding Unlimited WTMJ talk and text line. Summerfest, 855-616-1620. Plan out your musical fun. And musical fun from summer to winter, music used in the Winter Olympics is causing a buzz. The story behind Donna Summer's MacArthur Park and why it's all over the news and surging in streaming. It's a song that Alyssa Liu, the American figure skater, she skated to the MacArthur Park Suite for her free skate program and won a gold medal, which is like so disco. It has one of the weirdest lyrics, like bake a cake in the rain. It's not. There you go. But Alyssa Liu dug this. She'd been using this song to her routine throughout the season, and including a lot of major competitions leading up to the Olympics, and stuck with it. Why switch? But now people are like, hey, what is that? And are listening to the rest of Donna Summer's music. And I think another person used, not Bad Girls, what did they use? Not Hot Stuff. Oh, I'm trying to remember what Donna Summer song, but there was another Donna Summer song that popped up during the Winter Olympics as well. So people are streaming Donna Summer to some classic disco. Good workout music too, don't you think? Well, the song that I would skate to, the one Donna Summer song that I would skate to, that's the song you need to hear next on What's on Tap.
Good Karma Brands is proud to be an equal opportunity employer, providing equal employment, development, and advancement opportunities to all teammates and applicants. To learn more about careers with us, please send an email to talentacquisition@goodkarmabrands.com. That's talentacquisition@goodkarmabrands.com.
Are you worried about running out of money in retirement? Wondering about how to pay less taxes? Join me, Tony Drake, for the Retirement Ready Show, live every Saturday at noon and Sunday at 7 a.m. on WTMJ 620 or 103.3 FM. We'll talk about smart strategies to help you retire with confidence. Don't miss it.
Drake & Associates LLC is an independent investment advisory firm that offers a variety of different investment vehicles. This commercial is provided for informational purposes only and should not be construed as individual investment advice. Drake & Associates LLC does not provide legal or tax advice. Past performance is not indicative of future performance.
Looking for some winter magic? You'll find it in Lake Geneva. Hit the slopes to ski, snowboard, or tube. Hike or snowshoe through a state park or nature preserve. Enjoy ice skating, ziplining, and even fat tire biking. And turn mealtime inside out with a cozy igloo or barrel dining experience. When it's time to come inside, catch a show with live music, magic, or dancing horses. Check out the unique shops and boutiques and melt away the winter chill at an award-winning spa. Learn more about things to do in Lake Geneva at visitlakegeneva.com. It's always been the place for winter fun.
Hey, this is Mike from Infinity Exteriors. Buying a roof, siding, or windows can feel overwhelming. Hidden costs, confusing contracts. We don't play that game. We educate you so you can decide. And when you know the facts, Infinity Exteriors is the clear choice. Since 1997, we've installed peace of mind with no surprise upcharges, flexible budgets, and immediate financing. Infinity Exteriors, saving our communities from unscrupulous contractors. Visit infinityexteriors.com.
Day after day, year after year, the heavy lifting, the repetitive motion, and now your body feels it. Your back, your knees, your quality of life.
At Access Legal, we stand up for people worn down by work.
Workers' comp is our sole focus, and our team has recovered more than $35 million for Wisconsin workers. From sudden accidents to pain that builds over years of hard work, we're dedicated to fighting for the benefits you're entitled to. If you've been worn down by work, contact Access Legal for a risk-free consultation.
Search AXIS Legal today.
If you missed this,
the Cubs picked by most experts to win the division again. Is this motivation for the Brewers, or is that overhyped?
I think it's status quo. There's no reason to think the Brewers wouldn't be the favorites. Now, granted, on paper, the Cubs had a better offseason by adding Alex Bregman. At the same time, weren't we saying this exact sentence last year when they signed Kyle Tucker and they made a couple of trades and they made some signings? Like, that's why the game is played on the field.
Catch up on the Wisconsin's Afternoon News podcast at WTMJ.com, presented by Dave Drakamp Heating.
You're listening to What's on Tap with Sandy Maxx on WTMJ. And now, feast your ears. This is the song you need to hear.
Most blokes going to be playing at 10. These go to 11.
I'm Sandy Maxx, and it was a kick to hear that Donna Summer music is surging on streaming because of the interest now, because not one but two Donna Summer songs were used by figure skaters. Japanese skater used Last Dance, and Alyssa Liu won gold by skating to MacArthur Park, of all things. So it got me thinking, like, man, if I was going to roller skate, well, that's just it. I used to roller skate to Donna Summer. If I was going to ice skate, this would be the song that would be my Donna Summer song. The song you need to hear, I Feel Love. It's Donna Summer on What's on Tap.
WTMJ, W277CV, and WKTI HD2 Milwaukee from the Annex Wealth Management Studios. This is News Radio WTMJ, a Good Karma brand station.
Abby with Abby Windows here. I installed windows for a lady who was going to go with a cheaper bid than mine and didn't quite understand why I would only install her windows the right way. It was a 1990s home with metal-clad wood windows. She was very grateful she went with us when we found all the windows and knee walls were rotted so badly the 2x6s were crumbling in my hands. She never would have known if she would have let the other guy pocket fit those windows. If you want a customized install for your home and you want it done the right way, give Abby Windows a call today. And if somebody asks you if you know a guy in the business, you can say no, but I know a girl.
You want to feel important. You want to be a part of something bigger, something that matters and can help change things. You want to feel like you belong. We know. We felt that way too. And that's why we did something about it. We aren't just Army National Guard soldiers. We are normal people just like you. And together, we can make a difference. Take on your legacy. Visit NationalGuard.com to find out more.
Sponsored by the Wisconsin Army National Guard. Aired by the Wisconsin Broadcasters Association and this station.
Alleviate your pain, rejuvenate your life.
This pain right here won't go away.
I just felt okay. It's something I'm gonna have to live with.
I just lived with it.
So I suffered with it for several years.
I felt like it was getting worse and worse.
I'm 46 years of age, so I did not want to get a knee replacement.
And I was like, something has to be done.
You don't want to have knee surgery if you don't have to.
Once I found Rejuvenex, I feel 100% better.
It eliminated the pain.
All of a sudden I went, Oh, wow. I started feeling pretty good.
So now I'm back. I can walk.
I'm excited for myself. I can't wait to continue.
I can stand longer. I can walk longer.
I can run a little bit. I should say jog.
The pain just went away. It's just wonderful.
It's a life changer. I definitely would recommend it.
Go to rejuvenex.com to schedule your appointment.
Imagine unpacking once and waking up somewhere new every morning. That's river cruising with Avalon and Fox World Travel. From castles along the Rhine to cafes on the Danube, Avalon's spacious ships put Europe right outside your window. Slower travel, deeper connections, and unforgettable views. Ready to let Europe come to you? Press the easy button and let Fox World Travel plan it all for you. Call 866-GO-FOX-GO to book your storybook vacation today.
Staples has hot deals and low prices on everything for your business, like up to $125 off your print order. Ends 4/18. Exclusions apply. Visit staples.com/print for details.
The place you want to go, Lynch McWanago.
Nobody sells for less than Lynch.
Stay up to date with your trusted and relevant source in news, sports, traffic, and weather. We are Wisconsin's radio station. News Radio 620, WTMJ, Milwaukee.
At 7 o'clock, it's 22 degrees. Tonight, mostly cloudy, a low of 18. Tuesday, a chance for light snow towards the evening, a high of 38. From the WTMJ Breaking News Center, I'm Jessica Gatso. Americans who are in certain areas of Mexico have been ordered to stay put and stay indoors after one of Mexico's drug kingpins was killed in an operation carried out by the Mexican military. ABC's Whit Johnson.
The chaotic fallout after a Mexican military operation took out the leader of the most powerful cartel in the country. Officials say drug kingpin Nemesio Oseguera Cervantes, known as El Mencho, the head of the Jalisco New Generation cartel, was among multiple cartel members killed during Sunday's operation.
70 other cartel members have been detained. The operation also led to the deaths of more than 24 members of the Mexican National Guard. A major American shipping company is now suing the Trump administration for a tariff refund.
FedEx joins a long list of companies that have sued the Trump administration over tariffs, asking the Court of International Trade in a lawsuit filed Monday for a full refund for the tariffs they have paid that have since been overturned by the Supreme Court. The fight for a refund is likely to take a while, with the Supreme Court not addressing refunds in their decision and President Donald Trump appearing unwilling to voluntarily give back money already collected by his administration. Peter Haralambous, ABC News.
Investors are worried about some of the uncertainty associated with tariffs. Annex Wealth Management CEO Dave Spano tells WTMJ's Point Taken.
What do they do with all of this money is a whole nother ball of wax. And even Justice Kavanaugh had said that even though there's a reduction, where does that money go? Does it get refunded? Does it come as a tax refund? Does it go to the people they charge? A lot of questions.
The president's tariffs raised about $142 billion in revenue through the end of last year. 2 Wisconsin Republicans want the state to re-implement the death penalty for those convicted of first-degree sexual assault of a child.
Wisconsin abolished capital punishment more than 170 years ago, following a botched public execution in 1851. Now, State Senator Chris Kappenga and Representative Elijah Benke are working to reintroduce the death penalty as a punishment option alongside life in prison in cases involving sexual abuse of children under 13. DNA evidence would have to tie the convicted person to the crime. The measure is unlikely to advance this session after the Assembly concluded business Friday. Adam Roberts, WTMJ News.
State lawmakers are putting more restrictions on cryptocurrency kiosks to help eliminate fraudulent activity. State Representative Patrick Snyder says scammers will manipulate people to deposit money into these Bitcoin ATMs. Then the funds are stolen.
This is something that is spreading across the nation. States are starting to put in regulation because these kiosks have no federal regulation at all.
There's about 700 of these machines in gas stations and grocery stores across Wisconsin. The bipartisan bill would set daily transaction limits and pave a way for scam victims to receive refunds. It now heads to the state Senate. New details about a man who stole a Wisconsin Rapids ambulance while intoxicated and naked.
37-year-old Benjamin Feltz has been ordered to undergo a competency exam. According to a criminal complaint, Feltz told police he drank, quote, about half a bottle of Fabuloso floor cleaner before being naked in public, then stealing an ambulance with a patient inside. The patient was a 50-year-old woman suffering from kidney disease who was unharmed. The chase lasted 40 minutes before the ambulance veered off the road into a muddy cornfield. Feltz also allegedly threatened officers while being arrested. He's facing 4 felony charges if he stands trial. Elizabeth Linton in WTMJ News.
Sports traffic and weather are next. Outdoor Living Unlimited, WTMJ News Time, 7:04.
WTMJ's Vince Vitrano for Inspired Closets, something that can positively affect your mood, getting organized and clearing out the clutter. A well-rounded closet could be the most powerful room in your home. Inspired Closets can transform your closets or laundry room, your pantry, any space in your house. What separates Inspired Closets from the others? Their 3D design software and a culture that promises to build what you want and need. Call my friends Katie and Dan today, a wife-husband team ready to help. Inspired days start in Inspired Closets. InspiredClosetsMilwaukee.com.
Education changes everything. It opens doors, shapes futures, and builds the foundation for our children's success. At City Ford Collective, we're working to transform our city's schools and ensure every Milwaukee child receives the high-quality education they deserve. We've taken real steps forward, but our work is far from done. This giving season, we're asking you to join us. Together, we can secure a stronger future for our children and a stronger future for Milwaukee. To support our mission, visit cityforwardcollective.org/donate. That's cityforwardcollective.org/donate.
Hey, John Mercure here for Mend Studios. You deserve to feel better. You deserve to feel healthy. You deserve to feel great about yourself. Mend Studios has a long-term wellness as the goal. That's how they're going to do it. That's how they're going to take care of you. I know and trust the therapists at Mend Studio. They customize every single treatment, and they've got multiple locations. They're in Mequon and Brookfield, both convenient, both easy to get to. Start at the website, mendstudio.com. I never feel better than I do after a session at Mend. Mendstudio.com.
$1 doesn't buy much unless you're spending it at Griffin. For just $1 over cost, you can buy brand new tires from us. This is Jim Griffin. Any major brand, $1 over our cost with free tire repair and lifetime rotation. We'll even show you the invoice to prove it. Our only requirements, we put them on for you. Buy one or the whole set. The dollar deal from Griffin. Milwaukee and Waukesha. Griffin. The buck stops here, but the deals on tires don't. That's Griffin.
Not combinable with other tire offers.
Time for a WTMJ Sports Update from the Gruber Law Offices. One call, that's all sports desk. The Brewers lose to the Padres 7-5 this afternoon in Cactus League play. Spring training continues tomorrow afternoon against the Athletics. The Bucks continue their homestand tomorrow evening against the Miami Heat. Taking a look at the roads with your WTMJ Time Saver traffic. Mostly clear on the roads right now, no major incidents and no slowdowns. And taking a look at the WTMJ 5-day forecast. Tonight, mostly cloudy skies, a low of 18. Tuesday, a chance for light snow towards the evening, a high of 38. Wednesday, partly cloudy with a chance for a wintry mix, a high of 32. Thursday, mostly cloudy with another chance for that wintry mix, a high of 36. On Friday, mostly sunny skies, a high of 45. Right now in Madison, it's 20 degrees. In Green Bay, it's 18. In Waukesha, it's 19. And in Milwaukee, it's 22 degrees. I'm Jessica Gatso, Outdoor Living Unlimited, WTMJ News Time, 7:07.
Your need-to-know cultural snapshot of Wisconsin and beyond. This is What's on Tap with Sandy Maxx, sponsored by Visit Milwaukee. A deep dive into all things intriguing, riveting, and entertaining. Now, here's your host, Sandy Maxx.
Welcome to the second hour of What's on Tap, where I am thrilled to welcome into the WTMJ studio author Dean Robbins, who has written the book Wisconsin Idols, 100 Heroes Who Changed the State, the World, and Me. Welcome, Dean.
Hi, Sandy. Thanks for having me on.
I'm so glad to meet you. You are such a wealth of knowledge, and this really is a collection of essays about these people that you admire.
Yeah, it's a collection of essays about people with sometimes surprising connections to Wisconsin that I consider heroic figures a lot of personal favorites of mine.
Rattle off a few of those personal favorites.
Well, there's well-known Wisconsin people. There's little-known stories about Chris Farley, Georgia O'Keeffe, Frank Lloyd Wright, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, Hank Aaron. But then there's lesser-known people who have a connection to Wisconsin, people that you don't necessarily expect to hear in conversations about Wisconsin. The Beatles, Elvis Presley, Harrison Ford, Joni Mitchell. They had a significant experience while passing through the state.
And what inspired you to write this book?
Well, ever since I was a little kid, I've just been drawn to certain heroic figures, people with exceptional courage and integrity and vision. Started with Superman. I would draw Superman S's on a piece of paper and tape them to my undershirt. I would walk around doing the Mighty Mouse chant, "Here I come to save the day." And then I just fell in love with one real-life person after another, just this succession of artists and athletes and scientists, people that contributed to making the world a better place.
So when did you decide, okay, this has to be a book? Because you're most known not only for your journalist days, but in the book writing world for children's books.
Yes, I write children's books about my personal heroes too. I've just idolized certain people my whole life. I've listened to their music, watched their movies. I've cheered on their sporting events, been inspired by their causes. And I started doing essays and commentaries for public radio and for Isthmus newspaper in Madison, other newspapers around the state and the country. And I just finally thought, you know what? I've got all these commentaries that sort of are of a piece and go together. And I thought, why not put them into a book?
So when you say idol, because the title is Wisconsin Idols, what qualifies someone for that word, in your opinion? What was your criteria?
Well, first of all, it had to be somebody that I adored. You know, these are all people that are personal heroes to me, just been inspiring to me my whole life. They had to, of course, have a connection to Wisconsin, whether they lived here for a time or whether they just had a notable experience passing through. They had to have a transformative effect on the world. I didn't want this to be a regional book. These are all people who had an influence on events outside the state of Wisconsin. And then finally, they had to have a fun story to tell that few people knew about. The well-known people, I found little-known details about them. And then there's little-known people who have an epic story that a lot of people don't know about.
And how did you do most of your research?
Well, it was full-body immersion. It was just one person after another. I was kind of in a state of starry-eyed inspiration for 2 solid years. So a lot of reading. I would stagger out of my office and croak to my wife, like, have you heard this story about Ann Landers in Eau Claire? And, you know, people would be backing away from me.
You'd be great at a cocktail party.
Yeah.
You're full of great stories and anecdotes.
Just the opposite. But also visiting places where these people had notable experiences. I loved traveling around the state and seeing little-known sites associated with all these people. I interviewed some of them. Some of them are friends of mine. So all sorts of ways of getting to know these stories.
Who is one of your friends you get to spotlight in your book?
Well, Kevin Hankus and Laura Dronzik are 2 great children's book illustrators. Kevin is a Caldecott Award winner. They're friends of mine. Jane Hamilton, the great novelist, is a friend. A few people like that.
What a wonderful way to pay tribute to them and let them truly know how much you admire them and how much they inspire you.
Well, you know, that's what the whole book is, really. It's my act of devotion to these people who've inspired me my whole life. I think telling a story about someone is the best way to get close to them, at least for me.
And keeping their legacy alive. So we're going to talk about some of these love letters to some of the people in your book, Wisconsin Idols, 100 Heroes Who Changed the State, the World, and Me. He is author Dean Robbins. We'll dig into some of these idols next on What's on Tap.
It's WTMJ's Debbie Loziga for Car Edge. The stress of car buying is finally a thing of the past. Car Edge negotiates with local dealerships for you, keeping your personal info private. With an average of 20-plus years of dealership experience, Car Edge experts know every trick in the book, saving you time and money. No sales calls, no wasted hours playing games at a dealership, just the best deal on the car you want. WTMJ fans get 20% off. Call 414-667-7413 or visit caredge.com/WTMJ for a free no-obligation consultation today.
This winter, treat yourself or someone you love to a getaway right here in Milwaukee. Milwaukee Hotel Month is coming with up to 25% off stays from January 14th through February 28th. From cozy boutique hideaways to modern downtown favorites, you'll find the perfect place for any kind of getaway. Enjoy world-class theater, inspiring museums, and award-winning dining, all paired with a warm, welcoming place to unwind after a full day of exploring the Brew City. Check in, chill out, and make winter feel a world away at visitmilwaukee.org/hotelmonth.
Hey, John Mercure here for Azura Memory Care and Assisted Living. Their mission is to transform the culture of care. They specialize in caring for those with early to late-stage Alzheimer's or other related dementia symptoms, and they offer early memory loss classes to help you. They specialize in this area. It's kindness at the core, locations throughout southeast Wisconsin. It's compassion, it's empathy. It's Wisconsin-based and family-owned, always welcoming people to come tour and welcome their new residents. I've seen their places. They're top-notch. It's Azura Memory Care and Assisted Living.
When snowstorms hit and the roads turn slick.
These slick roads are pretty brutal.
When school closings start rolling in and traffic slows to a crawl.
The snowfall closing schools in Kenosha.
We've got the latest updates on forecasts and everything else you need to know during severe winter weather. Find Fleet Farm Storm Team alerts on air and online at WTMJ.com or on the WTMJ mobile app. Stay safe. Stay informed with WTMJ. This is What's on Tap with Sandy Maxx.
Welcome back to What's on Tap. I'm Sandy Maxx, and my guest is author Dean Robbins, an award-winning author who has spent his career telling stories of extraordinary people, mostly for young readers, but his first adult novel, which sounds naughty, it's called Wisconsin Idols, 100 Heroes Who Changed the State, the World, and Me. And Dean, I'm so excited to meet you. I see that you're doing a Lunch and Learn presentation at Three Pillars Senior Living Communities in Dousman on Thursday, March 5th. And that's where I discovered this. I hadn't heard of you before, and it's been a joy to see just how many books you've written. What are some of the children's books that you've written that are on a similar theme of people that you think people should know about?
They're all nonfiction books about people that I consider heroes. So there's one called Margaret and the Moon. That's about one of the lesser known heroes. This is Margaret Hamilton, who was a pioneering computer scientist who was doing all this work to get the first astronauts all the way to the moon, and then actually saved the first lunar landing from crashing with her brilliant programming skills.
Those are stories that deserve to be told.
Yeah.
And especially to kids who are thinking, oh, I'm not good at math or science. It's like, yeah, you are. Because if you are good at math and science, look at what role you can play.
Exactly. And so there's also well-known people who I find a little-known angle for. Susan B. Anthony and Frederick Douglass, the great champions of rights and freedom in the 19th century, were actually friends and neighbors, and they would meet at Susan's parlor to discuss their different causes and support each other and have tea together. So it's called Two Friends, Susan B. Anthony and Frederick Douglass.
And again, I think people don't realize that. You know, you learn names and dates in history, and you don't always put them together associatively, like, oh, they were contemporaries, and they did know each other.
Yeah.
And had hearty conversations.
That one I just discovered sort of out in the field. I was visiting Susan B. Anthony's house in Rochester, New York, because I love visiting places associated with these people. And the tour guide was showing us around and brought us to the parlor and said, this is where Susan would sit with her neighbor, Frederick Douglass, and have tea. And I thought, they knew each other? Oh my gosh. And I looked it up afterwards. Does anybody know about this? Has this been written about? And it hadn't. So that was the spark for that children's book.
Do you feel between your children's books that are nonfiction and now Wisconsin Idols, 100 Heroes Who Changed the State, the World, and Me, that through these books you are serving a purpose? You're kind of a vessel?
Well, I'm hoping to inspire people the way that I was inspired. A friend of mine read Wisconsin Idols and said, I like this because courage is contagious. And I thought, wouldn't that be wonderful if people read this book and would model themselves in some way after the likes of Jackie Robinson or Oprah Winfrey or Hank Aaron, some of the other people who are in the book? I'd really feel like my work was done.
Oprah Winfrey, she has family here? Is that her connection to Wisconsin?
She grew up in a struggling Milwaukee family. She was dealing with abuse and thoughts of suicide. And when she was 12 years old, she had what she considers to this day her best Christmas ever. It looked like that year's Christmas celebration was going to be called off because of the family's lack of funds. 3 nuns knocked on the apartment door and surprised them with a Christmas dinner and presents for the kids. And Oprah was so grateful that someone had remembered her and that she wouldn't have to be the only kid to say, I got nothing for Christmas. And she credits this with turning her life around and setting her on the path to her broadcasting career.
So you, in essence, could say that her Milwaukee experience projected her forward. It was a life-changing experience to have that charity at Christmas.
Yeah, she freely acknowledges that. And she also says it inspired her own philanthropy.
I was just going to say, I think she has a reputation for being very giving. And I would like to think that she feels a good vibe about paying things forward.
She traces it back to that knock on the door in Milwaukee.
Wow. And then I have to tell you, on my Google Calendar, because I am a big NASA fan, I actually have this on my Google Calendar. February 23rd, 1966 is a date that astronaut James Lovell had a parade in the streets of Milwaukee because it was his homecoming from after spending 2 weeks in space on the Gemini 7 mission. And James Lovell is also one of your Wisconsin idols.
Yes, he's been a hero of mine since I was a kid. I was the perfect age in the 1960s and 70s to fall in love with astronauts. They were kind of the new glitzy thing that everybody followed. I had my astronaut scrapbook. So when I grew up to be a journalist and I had a chance to interview James Lovell, I was thrilled.
Oh, and time with Captain Lovell is always good time.
Oh, my gosh.
What was that experience like?
Well, at first, he had his story about the famous Apollo 13 disaster where he was 200,000 miles from space with his crewmates and a tank exploded. And so they had to improvise one of the greatest recoveries in the annals of aviation. They repurposed their lunar module as a kind of life raft and somehow got back to Earth. So, of course, I wanted to talk to him about that because I'd followed it, minute by minute when it was happening in 1970. Well, he had his story that he tells about this, and I'd read it in various places, and it was always the same. And, why wouldn't it be? That was his story. But I wanted something different. A journalist wants to tell kind of a different sort of a story, not the same old one. So I kept circling around to what gave you the ability to be the way you are, basically the right stuff. How did you become the hero that you are? Was there something special in your childhood? Was there something in Milwaukee? He didn't want to answer that question because it wasn't really part of his script, but I kept circling around to it. And finally, at the end, I asked the question in a certain way, and he stopped for a second and he said, well, I was the only child of a single mother, and she was always off at work. And it left me to my own devices. And I guess I had to develop the quality of self-reliance. And it was almost like he was thinking about that for the first time himself. And I thought, wow, I got a scoop here. So that was really fun.
And some self-reflection from Captain Lovell.
Yeah.
What a wonderful moment. And I'm glad you got to experience that in person because he's such a genial guy.
Yeah, he was so generous with his time.
Yeah. We're talking with author Dean Robbins on What's on Tap. He is the author of Wisconsin Idols, 100 Heroes Who Changed the State, the World, and Me. We've only talked about a few of the heroes. There are so many more to chat about. So stay with us here on What's on Tap on WTMJ.
Menards 11% rebate is here. From lighting to lumber, from doors to floors. The bigger the project, the bigger the rebate. From painting projects to that new kitchen makeover and designing that outdoor space of your dreams. Save big on any project you're tackling. Hurry into Menards for an 11% rebate on everything. Mail-in rebate is a merchandise credit check, not a point-of-sale discount. Redeemable on future in-store purchases only. Not on future purchases on Menards.com. See store for details.
Save big money at Menards.
After a serious crash with a semi-truck, everything can change instantly. Your future, your family's future, your quality of life. That's why knowledge and results matter in big truck cases. And not all law firms have the know-how or the resources to handle these complicated cases. At Gruber's Law Offices, we have the experience it takes to make sure you're protected. And there's never a fee until we win your case. Gruber's Law Offices. One call, that's all.
WTMJ is throwing strikes for a cause. You are invited to Bowling for Babies, presented by Gruber Law Offices, Saturday, March 7th at Village Bowl in Menominee Falls, raising funds for the Milwaukee Diaper Mission. Put together a team of 4. hit the lanes. Registration is $170 per team. And if you want in, just text the word baby to the WTMJ Talk and Text line 855-616-1620 to sign up. Bowling for Babies. Let's bowl and help families in need.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Your car might not be able to express its gratitude when you get an oil change, but the people you're helping will certainly appreciate it. Because when you visit an Adam member new car dealer through May 16th, they'll donate $1 from every oil change to Feeding America Eastern Wisconsin. And every dollar provides 3 meals. Over the past 15 years, Adam has donated more than $960,000, providing 2.8 million meals for people across southeast Wisconsin, the majority being children and seniors. So if your car's in need of an oil change, why not also help someone who's in need of a meal? Get your oil changed by Adam factory trained techs at a price as low or lower than independent shops. For a list of participating Adam member dealers, visit adamm.com. And thank you.
Hey, Wisconsin anglers. This Saturday, head to MW Marine for a free fishing seminar. No reservation needed. Meet Warren Zarin from the Mercury Lund Pro Team and learn West Coast bass techniques that flat out work in Wisconsin. Pick up tips you can use right away. And while you're there, check out the boats and get ready for your best season yet. This Saturday at MW Marine. Free, fun, and you're invited.
What's on Tap with Sandy Maxx is back on WTMJ.
Wisconsin has produced and shaped some remarkable figures, and an author in the studio with me, Dean Robbins, has captured several of those stories. No, many of those stories. Dean, your book, Wisconsin Idols, 100 Heroes Who Changed the State, the World, and Me. So many stories of inspiration. And did you have to narrow it down to 100 heroes? Were there many, many more? Or did you have to flesh it out? How do you get to 100 heroes?
Well, I found myself rounding 100, and I thought, I'm never going to stop. And my editor finally said, no, we're cutting you off, like a bartender at a bar. No more heroes for you. You got 100. So there had to be a few on the cutting room floor.
Are there enough that make your criteria of inspirations and unique stories that have a definite Wisconsin connection that you could do a volume 2?
I could probably do a volume 2.
Ooh.
There are some who are on the margin. I had all my various criteria, and there were some figures who were problematic from history who, I didn't want to have to apologize for people. I'd start writing the essay, and there'd be sort of a blemish from their past, things that we don't accept anymore, certain attitudes. And I found myself writing a paragraph of sort of explaining it. And when I thought, if I have to apologize for someone, I'm just not going to include them.
I think that certainly makes sense. And you found 100 solid people from all categories and walks of life, whether it's scientists or entertainers or sports figures. And we're in Black History Month. And in doing some research, I saw that you have Caroline Quarles and Joshua Glover as stories in your book. And I just interviewed, Milwaukee PBS has a documentary called Wisconsin's Underground Railroad that is brand new and follows Caroline Quarles and Joshua Glover. And I think there are a lot of people who don't know their harrowing journeys.
Those are such exciting, dramatic stories with happy endings. Wisconsin was a free state in the mid-1800s, and so enslaved people would try to escape here. And Caroline Quarles and Joshua Glover from their different places, I guess both were in St. Louis, actually. By hook or by crook, they found their way to Wisconsin, and there was the fugitive slave law in effect, and so it wasn't legal to harbor fugitive slaves. And these slave catchers would go out and try to catch them, and they'd make a ton of money hauling them back to where they were from. Well, they ran into a brick wall in Wisconsin with these two because the state's abolitionists just said, oh, no, you don't. We're going to harbor these people. We're going to shelter them in our Underground Railroad network. And they got them out of the country into Canada.
And those were, like you said, harrowing stories. So about how many pages do you devote to each of these stories? Because those are definitely adventurous stories.
Yeah. So the essays are sort of, like something you'd read in a newspaper. I'm a newspaper reporter and essayist, so, in the 800-word range. But, compressing and making it kind of a short, dramatic story, I think is one of the fun aspects of the book. You can sort of pick it up and put it down and, and maybe be compelled by the story that you might not know. But Caroline Quarles would be hidden in closets and in barns. And finally, a farmer said that I will take you on a horse and buggy and get you out of Wisconsin and spirit you up to Canada. His neighbors banded together and said, we'll take care of your crops for you. We'll harvest the crops. And they had this journey up into Canada. And then years later, they corresponded. She learned to read and write. And they had this beautiful final interchange of letters. And she called him her dear friend and said she'd never forgotten him.
Can you imagine the level of gratitude for people who risk their lives to help you have a new life?
Yes.
That's powerful. So I'm so glad you're able to tell these powerful stories in your book, Wisconsin Idols, 100 Heroes Who Changed the State, the World, and Me. And you'll be telling these stories at a Lunch and Learn on March 5th, a Thursday at the Three Pillars Senior Living Communities in Dousman. Are you looking forward to that?
I am looking forward to that. There'll be 2 presentations. I've got a PowerPoint with lots of visuals and jokes and interactive stuff. So it should be fun.
I was saying one of those opportunities for people to ask you even more questions, because we're just touching on some of the stories and we have more stories, including a man I still have a crush on, Harrison Ford, and how he has Wisconsin connections. So stay with me and author Dean Robbins here on What's on Tap. And right now we go to the WTMJ Breaking News Center. Here is Jessica Gatso.
Thanks, Sandy. An elderly woman died in a fire in Greendale this morning. Fire crews responded to the home near Einfield Avenue and Houston Street just after 8 a.m. They rescued an 84-year-old woman who was trapped inside. She later died at the hospital. 2 other people safely exited the home on their own. The fire started in the basement, and the home did not have working smoke detectors. In Madison, still no deal between Republican leaders and Governor Tony Evers on a property tax relief package. Both sides want to use some of the state's projected $2.5 billion surplus to provide tax relief. The GOP proposal would send rebate checks to Wisconsinites, but Governor Evers says negotiations are ongoing. Speaker Robin Vos has indicated the Assembly will likely return for a special or extraordinary session. The state Senate is expected to return to the Capitol next month for at least one session day to wrap up its business. Milwaukee Public Schools is hosting a free lead screening clinic for students and children this week. The clinic is tomorrow at Keefe Avenue School. The Centers for Disease Control and Prevention is providing a nearly $400,000 grant for the testing. The goal is to screen up to 8,000 children for elevated lead levels. No appointment is needed, but parents must provide consent. Taking a look at the roads with your WTMJ Time Saver traffic. Pretty clear on the roads right now. No major incidents, no major slowdowns. And taking a look at the WTMJ forecast. Tonight, mostly cloudy skies, a low of 18. Tuesday, a chance for some light snow towards the evening, a high of 38. Wednesday, partly cloudy skies with a chance for some wintry mix, a high of 32. Thursday, mostly cloudy and another chance for wintry mix, a high of 36. On Friday, back to mostly sunny skies, a high of 45. Right now in Madison, it's 20 degrees. In Green Bay, it's 18. In Waukesha, it's 19. And in Milwaukee, it's 22 degrees. I'm Jessica Gatso, Outdoor Living Unlimited, WTMJ News Time, 7:32.
Education changes everything. It opens doors, shapes futures, and builds the foundation for our children's success. At City Ford Collective, we're working to transform our city's schools and ensure every Milwaukee child receives the high-quality education they deserve. We've taken real steps forward, but our work is far from done. This giving season, we're asking you to join us. Together, we can secure a stronger future for our children and a stronger future for Milwaukee. To support our mission, visit cityforwardcollective.org/donate. That's cityforwardcollective.org/donate.
WTMJ's Vince Vitrano for Inspired Closet, something that can positively affect your mood, getting organized and clearing out the clutter. A well-rounded closet could be the most powerful room in your home. Inspired Closets can transform your closets or laundry room, your pantry, any space in your house. What separates Inspired Closets from the others? Their 3D design software and a culture that promises to build what you want and need. Call my friends Katie and Dan today, a wife-husband team ready to help. Inspired days start in Inspired Closets. InspiredClosetsMilwaukee.com.
My husband's an animal in bed.
Well, you know.
Not in the fun way. Think warthog. With a chainsaw.
Snoring and sleep apnea affect over 90 million people, and 1 out of 4 couples sleep in separate rooms. Advent can help. We've been Milwaukee's one-stop solution for nasal congestion, snoring, and sleep apnea for over 20 years. Unlike many other practices, we focus exclusively on these conditions, so you get comprehensive care under one roof. Advent's unique approach can help you breathe and sleep better, and many avoid a CPAP. Plus, most insurance is accepted for our effective 20-minute in-office treatments.
Hey, the only animal you want in your bed is your dog.
Advent. Sleep better. Sleep together. Learn how you can improve your life at adventknows.com.
Pizza's here.
Oh, great. I'd love some, but I'm worried about my stomach issues.
If you're worried about having diarrhea, gas, bloating, stomach pain, or loose, oily stools, it may not just be stomach issues. It could be a condition called exocrine pancreatic insufficiency, or EPI. With EPI, the pancreas doesn't release enough enzymes to break down food, but EPI is manageable. Use the symptom checker on identifyepi.com and talk to your doctor. That's identifyepi.com. Sponsored by AbbVie.
Oh, how's that flu, babe? Did you take Dayquil Intense Flu yet?
Nah, I got this. Ugh, okay, I don't got this.
You stay on the couch, and I'll grab the Dayquil.
Undo your flu symptoms with Dayquil Intense Flu. Dayquil Intense Flu provides powerful relief of your flu symptoms. I'm ready for that to-do list.
Wow, you do got this.
Dayquil Intense Flu. The daytime coughing, aching, fever, under your flu medicine. Use as directed. Keep out of reach of children.
Welcome back to What's on Tap on WTMJ.
Welcome back to What's on Tap, sponsored by Visit Milwaukee. Handcrafted, homegrown, world class. Discover more at visitmilwaukee.org. One state, 100 heroes. Author Dean Robbins is telling their stories. What is the name of your book?
Wisconsin Idols. 100 heroes who changed the state, the world, and me.
And 2 years thoroughly researching this.
Well, a lifetime, really.
Well, then, yeah, I'm glad you said that, but 2 years of the intense research.
Yes.
But I'm charmed that you have been following along with heroes your entire life, and that you are such a talented writer, that you've been writing children's books, you've been a journalist, and now you're using these essays to inspire others and keep these stories going. And I will tell you, in doing research, it has been fun. I can't wait to read your book. Like, this is one of those, like, I'm just not even going to, like, I don't pretend anyway, but it's just like, I can't fake that I've read your book. I'm so excited to learn all of the stories of every 100 essays. Like, there's going to be something of value in each of these essays. So I'm very excited to read your book, Dean. And the Actor Awards, known as the SAG Awards, are coming up on Sunday. Harrison Ford will be receiving the Lifetime Achievement Award. Harrison Ford is one of your Wisconsin idols.
He has a little-known connection to Wisconsin, believe it or not. He was from Chicago, but he went to Ripon College in the early 1960s, and he was sleeping through his classes and flunking out. And in his last quarter, realizing that he wouldn't have the grades to graduate, he thought, what the heck? I'm going to overcome my stage fright and sign up for a theater class. And he starred in a production of The Skin of Our Teeth in Ripon's Red Barn Theater, wearing a fake mustache. And he absolutely loved it. And he thought, maybe I found my vocation in life, finally. And to be sure, he signed up to do community theater that summer in Williams Bay, Wisconsin, at this place called the Belfry Players Theater. And he supported himself doing carpentry work for the theater on the side. And he spent the whole summer, and he would flub his lines occasionally, but he felt himself maturing as an actor. And at the end of the summer, he thought, you know what? I'm going to head to Hollywood and try my luck there. He spent a few more years supporting himself with carpentry, but then he finally made his breakthrough as Han Solo in Star Wars and Indiana Jones, and here we are.
Again, Wisconsin being such an important part of his trajectory of that self-discovery.
Yes. And so Ripon College later said, hey, why don't you come back and we'll give you an honorary degree? And Harrison Ford said, no, I don't want to do that.
Yet he'll fly back every summer for EAA in his own aircraft.
Oh, does he do that?
Yeah, he's a big EAA fan, AirVenture fan. Yeah.
Okay, so he doesn't
Oshkosh.
avoid Wisconsin entirely.
I'm glad. Yeah, he does not completely disown the state of Wisconsin. But I had known that he'd gone to school in Ripon, but I didn't realize that he had really discovered acting and his aptitude for it here.
Yes, it's a foundational place for him.
Now, you can hear the surprise in my voice, and I'm sure some other WTMJ fans were equally surprised. What is one of the most surprising stories for you that you're like, if you pick up my book and read one essay, this is the one you need to read?
Well, my favorite story, I'm not sure if everyone will be surprised by this, but I love the story of Elvis Presley stopping a fight in Madison.
There's even a little monument to it. There's even a little rock.
There is a monument. So this is the last miracle of Elvis Presley's life after a lifetime of the miracles that he pulled off. It was 1977 in the summer. It was June. He was 2 months away from dying. He was overweight and ailing. He was sort of sunk into drugs and despair. And he flew into Madison for a show the next day. He'd just done a show in Des Moines. He was wearing this sparkly blue jumpsuit from the Des Moines show. It was the middle of the night. He got in a limousine and he drove up this road and stopped at a stop light and looked to his right, and there were two juvenile delinquents beating up this kid who was working at a gas station. And Elvis said, I can't let this happen. And his bodyguard said, you don't leave this car. And he said, sorry. And he flung open the car door and he strode toward the attackers in his sparkly blue jumpsuit. And imagine, this is, the overweight Elvis. He starts throwing karate kicks and karate chops, and everybody stopped and gawked. And the attackers ran away, and Elvis shook hands all around, got back in his limousine, and vanished into the night. And, it was almost like a visitation from a god.
It is very unexpected, but that was the time in the 70s. Remember, he loved getting the sheriff's badges.
Yes.
Like, he was very into law enforcement, and if he could do good, there he was.
But he just sort of pulled himself together one last time. And then that was sort of it for the Elvis story. And it happened in Wisconsin.
It created magic. I am a huge Elvis fan. You just told that story so well. And I love that you have researched it even more to prove that he was in the sparkly jumpsuit. He wasn't just in denim. Like, this was stage Elvis who came out to break up the fight. And I have driven to actually see the little rock with the plaque on it. And there it is, kind of in a gravel parking lot. The gas station is gone, but the little rock is there.
It's in the middle of nowhere. And I can't even tell you how many times I've stood there just staring at it because, oh my gosh, Elvis walked here. He broke up a fight here.
Reimagining that moment, that is so fun. We'll talk about one of the tallest Wisconsin idols that makes it in your book. He's next on What's on Tap. I'm with author Dean Robbins.
This winter, treat yourself or someone you love to a getaway right here in Milwaukee. Milwaukee Hotel Month is coming with up to 25% off stays from January 14th through February 28th. From cozy boutique hideaways to modern downtown favorites, you'll find the perfect place for any kind of getaway. Enjoy world-class theater, inspiring museums, and award-winning dining, all paired with a warm, welcoming place to unwind after a full day of exploring the Brew City. Check in, chill out, and make winter feel a world away at visitmilwaukee.org/hotel month.
Skilled trade workers are the backbone of every community and also the Army National Guard. Soldiers trained to keep the power flowing, engines running, and in every other trade needed to accomplish the mission. These soldiers are on the fast track to learning skills that can set them up for success at home with companies looking to hire the best. Their resumes are being built through their paid training and part-time service. Find out how you too can learn a trade profession by visiting NationalGuard.com. Sponsored by the Wisconsin Army National Guard. Aired by the Wisconsin Broadcasters Association and this station.
Day after day, year after year, the heavy lifting, the repetitive motion, and now your body feels it. Your back, your knees, your quality of life. At Access Legal, we stand up for people worn down by work. Workers' comp is our sole focus, and our team has recovered more than $35 million for Wisconsin workers. From sudden accidents to pain that builds over years of hard work, we're dedicated to fighting for the benefits you're entitled to. If you've been worn down by work, contact Axis Legal for a risk-free consultation. Search AXIS Legal today.
Yes, Toradol is considered a strong pain reliever. It's one of the most potent non-steroidal anti-inflammatory drugs available. And absolutely, hyaluronic acid is used to treat shoulder, hip, elbow, and knee pain. It's a lubricating gel-like substance that reduces stiffness and improves mobility. It acts as a lubricant and shock absorber, reducing friction in the joint. And when we pinpoint the root of your pain, and we combine these powerful 100% FDA-approved pain relief medicines, if thousands of patient confirmations tell us anything, you're going to experience pain relief. And because of this, your quality of life increases, and you'll start living better. I'm Rejuvenex founder Richard Salinas. There's much more to life that you've been missing because of your pain. This isn't even about taking a chance. It's about taking your first step to living pain-free. Go to rejuvenex.com to schedule your appointment so we can alleviate your pain and rejuvenate your life.
Alleviate your pain, rejuvenate your life.
Call today, and there's a good chance we could be seeing you tomorrow.
Parents can expect to use 2,500 to 3,000 diapers in a baby's first year. The Milwaukee Diaper Mission has distributed over 1.4 million diapers and other supplies for families just last year alone. This is WTMJ's Kristen Bry. Join me for WTMJ Cares Bowling for Babies, where we will raise funds for Milwaukee Diaper Mission. You can be part of it. Text BABY to the WTMJ Talk and Text line, 855-616-1620, to support our WTMJ Cares effort.
You're listening to What's on Tap with Sandy Maxx on WTMJ.
Author Dean Robbins has more than 100 stories, but he's at least preserved 100 of them in his book, Wisconsin Idols, 100 Heroes Who Changed the State, the World, and Me. You'll be doing a special presentation, a lunch and learn, at Three Pillars Senior Living Communities in Dousman on March 5th, a Thursday afternoon. Great space, and I know a lot of people will be asking you questions because these stories are so inspiring and interesting. If you're interested in seeing Dean Robbins in person, threepillars.org is the website to get info on that lunch and learn with Wisconsin Idols. But I'm so honored to have you in the studio here. And let's talk about the tallest of the Wisconsin Idols that makes it in your book.
That's Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, who was known as Lou Alcindor back in 1969. He was going to be drafted, and there were two teams that were competing for him. It was the team with the worst record in the Eastern Division, that was the Milwaukee Bucks, and the team that had the worst record in the Western Division, that was the Phoenix Suns, and it came down to a coin flip. And I don't know if a lot of people know about this fateful coin flip, who was going to get to draft Kareem, because he'd obviously be the number one draft pick because of
That's not a savvy way to make a business decision.
Well, this is how the NBA worked back in those days. Well, anyway, both teams did everything they could to influence the coin flip. They polled their fans about whether to pick heads or tails. The Milwaukee Bucks general manager consulted with Las Vegas odds makers, like, should I make the call? Should I let the other guy make the call? So they said, let the other guy make the call. So the Phoenix Suns general manager got to flip the coin, and he called it, and it landed on his hand, and to his eternal regret, he flipped it onto the back of his hand and called it, and it was wrong. And so Kareem went to the Bucks. So it was just a matter of chance. And then the wonderful epilogue to that story is that Kareem had these wonderful years with Milwaukee, everybody knows. Then he went to the Lakers. And in 2021, he came back to Milwaukee when the Bucks were making their run for another championship. And he did a tweet where he put on his Milwaukee Bucks jersey, his number 33, and said, back in 1969, the Milwaukee Bucks and the Phoenix Suns, those were the competitors, of course, in 2021 for the championship. And Kareem said, they flipped a coin to see who would get a chance to draft me. Well, now I'm taking control of it. And he flipped a coin, and he got it on his hand, and he said, Bucks and 6. And that's exactly what happened.
That is great. What great stories and that full circle moment. And Kareem Abdul-Jabbar just being a true humanitarian and well-read, and an author himself. He's a fascinating man.
He's wonderful. And he gave a blurb for the cover of Wisconsin Idols.
Did he?
What a nice guy.
Did you get to talk with him as an interview as part of your research?
No, this was all over email.
My goodness.
Shall I read what he wrote?
With pleasure. That's got to feel great.
Insightful and entertaining, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar.
Hey, succinct, right to the point.
Yes.
So Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, the tallest of your Wisconsin idols. Who's the smallest of your Wisconsin idols?
Minard Robbie was a little person from rural Farmington, Wisconsin, and he was the one who was the Munchkin coroner in The Wizard of Oz. He was the one who said that the Wicked Witch wasn't merely dead, but really most sincerely dead.
I can see his little outfit and everything. I'm a huge Wizard of Oz fan, and I knew about the Economowalk history of the Wizard of Oz, but I didn't know that we had one of the Munchkins, one of the indelible Munchkins as a Wisconsinite.
Yes, and it was no fluke that he got that part because he had grown up in Farmington, and he thought that he was the only little person in the world. There was just no context that he could see at that time. This is the 1930s for other little people. But then he went to the Chicago World's Fair, and there was a whole village of little people, and he thought, oh my gosh, there's other people in the world like me. And he got work there, and he became a barker and an announcer, and he worked very hard on his diction. And it was really a showbiz job. And then when there was a call for little people to be in The Wizard of Oz, he was a very adventurous person. He threw up everything that he was doing and went to Los Angeles and tried out and got one of 9 speaking parts because of all the work that he'd put into his diction. And he achieved lifelong fame. He shares a star in the Hollywood Walk of Fame. And when he died in 2010, he had major obituaries in the BBC and the New York Times, and for good reason, as you'll see in Wisconsin Idols.
That is a wonderful story that, again, is surprising. I don't think I knew.
Yeah, I found his gravestone in Farmington. He lived all over the country throughout his life, and he actually volunteered for the Civil Air Patrol as a pilot during World War II. So this was a guy who liked adventures, but he ended up back in Wisconsin, in rural Farmington, and I found this little stone for him in this churchyard sort of in the middle of nowhere.
Dean Robbins, author of Wisconsin Idols, 100 Heroes Who Changed the State, the World, and Me, making their impact. What a joy to chat with you. As we get into our next segment, let's talk baseball. I got to think some sports figures make it in because baseball has been so influential here in Wisconsin. So talking baseball with Wisconsin Idols author Dean Robbins next on What's on Tap.
Be our eyes on the road. See something out there that I should know about?
Yeah, Debbie, this is Dan. South of K, there's a car fire in the southbound lane closing off 3 lanes.
Call me, Debbie Lazaga, on the WTMJ traffic tip line, 414-238-9329.
Hey, Debbie, just calling in. There's 2 separate accidents, 94 westbound.
The drive affects you. Why not be part of it?
There was an accident. There's already 4 cops there and an ambulance.
Give me a call, 414-238-9329.
When was the last time you watched your home movies?
Disasters strike unexpectedly. Every year, American families lose the one thing they'd run back into a burning building for, their family's memories. Hi, I'm Nick.
And I'm Adam. We started Legacy Box to help save your family's most important recorded moments so you don't have to worry.
Load Legacy Box with your old movies, film reels, and shoeboxes of photos.
We work our digitizing magic, converting those memories right to the cloud so they're safe and accessible forever.
It's fast, we always send your originals back, and it's done right here in the USA.
Over 1 million families have trusted Legacy Box. Better Homes and Garden, Real Simple, and Inc. magazine are all talking about Legacy Box.
New York Times columnist David Pogue says, have them digitized. I wish I'd done it sooner. Take action. Save your family's memories today with Legacy Box.
Go to legacybox.com/value to get an incredible 50% off your Legacy Box. That's legacybox.com/value for 50% off while supplies last. legacybox.com/value.
WTMJ's Eric Bilstead here for QC Kinetics. Admit it, sometimes when you're out and about, you see people you know are older than you, but they seem to be acting younger. They're out there exercising, swimming, playing tennis, enjoying life, and you wonder to yourself, why do I feel older than I really am? Well, it's that joint pain, right? That pain that makes you feel older. You're not that old. It's time to call QC Kinetics. QC Kinetics patients right here in Milwaukee are getting relief. They're feeling younger, jumping back into life full speed, and it didn't happen on an operating table. The sooner you start treatment at QC Kinetics, the sooner inflammation eases and the sooner joint damage slows down. And that's when you start to feel your age again. Find out if you're a candidate for QC Kinetics regenerative treatments. Call 414-667-5559. That's 414-667-5559. Set yourself up with a free consultation and start living your life again. 414-667-5559. Call QC Kinetics today.
Amazon Business empowers leaders with smart business buying tools, leaving time to focus on strategy and growth. Free up your teams and focus on your future at AmazonBusiness.com.
This is What's on Tap with Sandy Maxx.
Welcome back to What's on Tap. Talking Wisconsin idols with author Dean Robbins, who has written an entire book devoted to the people who have inspired you. Are you a baseball fan too?
I grew up loving the St. Louis Cardinals. That was my infatuation during childhood.
We'll forgive you because that is the team that Bob Uecker played for.
Thanks for your forgiveness.
The pregnant pause, but who are some of the baseball players that make it into your Wisconsin Idols book?
I'll tell you two of my absolute favorite stories from the book. One is Jackie Robinson. And believe it or not, the great Jackie Robinson has a Wisconsin connection. He he integrated Major League Baseball, of course, in 1947 with the Brooklyn Dodgers. And there was a little kid, a white 8-year-old from Sheboygan, who idolized Jackie Robinson. His name was Ronnie Rabinovitz. And his dad wrote this long shot letter to Jackie saying, my son loves you. Would you mind dropping him a line? Well, what Major League ball player would do something like that? Well, Jackie did. So he wrote to Ronnie. And then Ronnie and his dad went to Milwaukee's County Stadium to see a game between the Dodgers and the Milwaukee Braves. And Ronnie called out from the stands when he saw Jackie. He said, hey, Jackie, remember me? I'm Ronnie Rabinovitz. And again, what Major League Baseball player would respond to something like that? But Jackie said, oh, yeah, your dad wrote me a letter and I wrote you back. Stay in touch.
Aww.
And they began this lifelong correspondence in which Jackie would share his philosophy of personal integrity and racial harmony. And you have to wonder, why would he pour all this effort into an 8-year-old kid from Sheboygan and, a white kid, no less, at a time of extreme racial tension? This is the mid-1950s. To me, it's only a theory, but I think that he wanted to have an influence on the next generation because his own generation was, inclined to be intolerant. And here was a chance to influence the coming generation and maybe would be more tolerant than his own.
I agree because Ronnie Rabinovitz was so open-hearted and just genuine. And I wonder if those Jackie Robinson's letters really did make an impact. But what a wonderful surprise. And who else is in your favorite baseball stories in Wisconsin Idols?
So Hank Aaron is well known for his Wisconsin connection, a great star for the Milwaukee Braves and then the Brewers. But not as many people know that he got his start in professional baseball with the Eau Claire Bears minor league team in 1952. He was an 18-year-old rookie phenom. He came to Eau Claire, which was an all-white town. Hank was from the segregated South, and he had very little experience with white people. Meanwhile, Eau Claire had very little experience with black people. And miraculously, in 1952, the black ball player and the white town fell in love with each other. Eau Claire residents would hand out invitations to Hank for going to fishing and to have dinner, and Hank accepted. And he later said, I was treated as fair as could be in Eau Claire. It helped to shape my dreams and mold me into the man that I was going to become.
What a beautiful story. He is author Dean Robbins, author of Wisconsin Idols, 100 Heroes Who Changed the State, the World, and Me. You can see him and hear more of these stories in person at Three Pillars Senior Living Communities. Their Lunch and Learn is happening Thursday, March 5th, threepillars.org to get the info on that. Dean, thank you so much, and I look forward to our next visit.
Thank you, Sandy. This has been so much fun. Thanks for having me on.
I'm glad. You're very welcome. My pleasure. And we'll check in with Dom Catronio, checking in from spring training next. I'm Sandy Maxx. Thanks for listening to What's on Tap, sponsored by Visit Milwaukee.
WTMJ, W277CV, and WKTI HD2 Milwaukee from the Annex Wealth Management Studios. This is News Radio.
The Freighter and the Medical College of Wisconsin Health Network